money has no value unless a human being, a human interest is there. There's nothing called money on earth except what a human being calls money. Welcome back to Salt, our school of accountability. Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Once again, this is Salt, the School of Accountable Living, Timing, and Earning. Our own home where we learn, we teach ourselves, we explore life, love, home, family, community. That's why we keep talking about cooperation. We keep talking about cooperate. Two cannot work together unless they agree. They do not agree because they perfectly absorb what every other person, every one of them is saying. No. What you find in cooperating with others, you find the angle you can plug in and get results. Just like someone trying to plug a gadget into a wall socket. There's just only one way or two. You may not be able to plug into all the orifices on every crack on the wall. There's a particular place you plug it, and it will give you the desired current and voltage for you to get your result. So today we are going to talk about closing in on finances. In my own country, I have a dad that retired from the civil service 1985. $1 could be about 70 kobo. That was 0.7 naira. So if he retired being paid like 300 naira, then by today's rate, it could be almost 100 and you'll be talking about almost 300, 250, 300,000 naira. About a civil servant, not up to grade level 10, he was earning then. And then you will ask me, how is he faring today? Now, this person is still alive today, 1985, 95, 2005, 2015, 30 years. 38 years later, you know how much he gets for a pension? You're sure he gets less than 30,000 naira as pension? 30,000 naira. The government has struggled to keep up, to raise the pension from being 300 naira or 275 or 250 naira. They've struggled to raise it to be in the thousands. But can you compare how useless 30,000 naira is compared to 250,000 naira? So he retired from service and he was being paid around 250,000 naira. That's today's value, 250,000 naira. And 38 years later, he could only get 30,000 naira or less. And now, how do we compare it? That's 1/8. 1/8, 1/8. 1/8 of what he started out 38 years ago. And if you watch out for any business in this country that is more than 30 years old, ask them what they started with. I know of Finoma in Enugu, a farm that we've heard story how it started with a loan of 10,000 naira in the early 80s to today. If they sell their scrap, I think they are employing more than 1,000 persons, both directly and indirectly, more than 1,000 businesses are actually plugging in onto Finoma. Different smallholder businesses are making their own livelihood and living just because Finoma is standing. What's the difference? If Finoma originator were to be a civil servant, you know how poor he would have been today. He could have been earning just 1/8 of what he was earning in 1982. But because he was in business, because he knew the value of other people, because even if you don't regard people, regard them for being your customers or your potential customers. So if they cannot be your employees, they can be your buyers or sellers. So people that succeed in business always have a very high premium placed on the community. And there's is the people of the place that is the community, the social milieu. So today, our discourse is about the value you place on people and how it keeps appreciating. In one of our earlier videos, we said that money has no value unless a human being, a human interest is there. There's nothing called money on earth except what a human being calls money. That's why when we took shells from the sea and called them cowries, they became legal tender. When we took pieces of metals, gold, silver, and called them money, they became legal tender. They became accepted. Why does it work that way? Because the gold has no value inside it. The silver has no value inside it. The earth, even the land that people fight and kill themselves over, has no value at all on its own. What you call building is just a remodeling of earth. As of earth. Everything in a building comes from under the earth. Now you look at all the things you value, you rate so highly. None of them has a value inside itself, including the dollar and the naira. They have no values inside of their own. So where is the value? Is the value in my body? No. The value is not in the physical. The value is in the living soul. Sorry, let me digress a bit, be a little religious here. Jesus Christ was explaining this and he said, what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Meaning that the soul of one person is more than all the oil money, all the gold, all the silver, all the Bitcoin money that could ever be made. What it's telling you is that the value of the Bitcoin is coming from a human soul. The value of the gold is coming from the soul, the living soul. The value. So it is the mind that pictures what it calls value. And that is what is that. Whatever you assign to that material as value, it takes it. That's as powerful as we are. So today we are talking about closing in on zeroing in on money. When you are starting a business, when you have a vision and you draw out a plan, steps to the goal, and then the team to drive it, we are asking you to do one more check, one more thing in what you have as your plan. Ask yourself, tell yourself that you don't want to go down, you want to grow up. Because if you reason like the governments and the civil servants, the pensioners, the civil servants will serve them meritorious, serving them after 35 years of service, they get a pension that they start getting that depreciates to 1/8 of his value, or even 1/10 of his value as the years in 38 years. If you reason like them, no matter the business you start today, after the passing of years, you only get poorer, have more debts. I think I know what it means to open a business, and instead of reaping profit from it, you are taking from your own hard-earned money to beef it up every now and then. Now, if you tell yourself you want to create a system, I think the one of the best examples to approach for counsel will be Tony Elumelu and Jim Ovie. You know, when they talk about, I think Jim Ovie started with 20 million naira only to create Senate Bank. I don't think there's any of their directors that earns less than 20 million naira in a month. I don't really know their take home, their paycheck, but the system he created, he has been able to market his vision into the mind of very good minds, to very good minds that further propagated it down to the marketer on the streets, and they have achieved some good level of success. The value of Zenith Bank today, whether you rate them in dollars or in pounds sterling, is far more than 1,000 times what they started with. And that's what every newcomer into business should be targeting. Thank you very much. Once again, this is Salt, our School of Accountable Living, Timing and Energy.